Good afternoon. Roleplaying Unlimited is presenting something a little bit different today. This is some real life chat based on inspirations and meaning behind why I am doing this. Why did I create Roleplaying Unlimited? Why am I streaming games after playing in pretty confined quarters for the better part of a quarter century? Just sticking with the same group of 5, 6 guys or so, and not really venturing out. Guess I should turn this thing on. Ah! I prefer blue. Well, for starters, I'm Daniel Phillips. Middle name is Kona. I'm from Hawaii. Born December 6, 1978, 44 years ago. I come from a very strong musical background. Both parents at different times in their life were musicians. My dad, who is featured in every one of these pictures that we're seeing here, he was a musician his entire life. Made it in a few different bands to varying degrees of success throughout the 60s and early 70s. And after that was pretty much here in Vegas, playing in casinos, saloons, taverns, you name it. He played all of them here in Vegas. And it was a bit of a shock a couple years ago when I got noticed that he was in the hospital again, dealing with stomach issues, intestinal issues, colon issues. And I don't know, just always just kind of had the feeling it would be like all the previous issues before that, where everything would be fine. He'd need another surgery, need something else kind of put in there to stabilize what was going wrong. And it was a very quick, for myself, less than 4 hours from finding out that he was in the hospital to finding out that he had passed. And Dad was my hero in more ways than one. He taught me a lot about being a good person, about just how to kind of view the world around me. And what I took from that was how to view it from an artist's heart. And yeah, it's definitely emotional seeing these pictures of him here. Going back to most of these here are from the 60s when he was in Six the Hard Way. And a lot of these are taken actually in Hawaii, where he met my mom, although it was not on this tour when he met my mom. The top left pictures that you're seeing, the ones that are not the greatest quality, some of them pictures taken of pictures that he had on his wall, pictures taken from old photo books that I couldn't take the pictures out of because they had just been stuck in there for so many years. Pictures of my dad with my sisters, with other members of the family. And I'm not sure exactly. I still haven't quite put the dots together on all of this. But something was triggered in me after he passed, and very, very quickly, to the point where I just felt I'm at a point in my life hitting that midlife crisis point. I'm not going to have children. I've kind of made my peace with that at this point in life. And I do want to have something that I can be proud of, some kind of legacy to leave behind. And ultimately, that is where Roleplaying Unlimited moved from a private web page, which is now defunct. They shut all of their pages down. It used to be Dan's RPGs at webs.com. But now it is officially roleplayingunlimited.com. When you used to log into dansrpgs.webs.com, the first thing you would see is Roleplaying Unlimited, tabletop RPGs, second to none. All kinds of pictures, videos, forum chats, mostly just with our group talking about the games in between sessions. Because we were only meeting once a week back then. But I was very, very strong on keeping gameplay active during the 6 days between games, because a lot of times we would end in a place where the characters could reasonably continue role playing from the interim between sessions. So there were a lot of excellent RPs on that page that are just sadly gone forever. I can't access the page anymore. I tried to, in the months before it closed, try to copy a lot of that stuff. It's just gone. Hydration. Dad left behind a pretty solid legacy. 4 kids, my 2 sisters, and my older half brother. He's infrequently seen in some of these pictures compared to myself and my sisters, nieces and nephews, etc. But yeah, this is very personal. This is private family stuff that, of course, the word private really has no relevance at this point, due to just what I'm doing here. And a lot of these, I mean, there's really nothing embarrassing to be seen here. Maybe I might make a goofy face here or there, but how's that? Anything unusual? Dad made a family, and he created a legacy, and a lot of people who are going to remember him. I want to do the same in the gaming community respect. I know my style is not fit for everybody. Nobody's style is fit for everybody, so that's cool. I do struggle with oversensitivity, over empathy, so a lot of the process of building this social community has been as uplifting as it can be crushing at times. But this year so far has been simply amazing. A lot of new friends coming into the community, people willing to just be entirely generous with their time, their talents. Somebody offered to start crafting Roleplaying Unlimited merchandise, which it's a blessing. Wayback Machine. Epileptic, I am not familiar with what that is. I'll have to look it up or check out your description of it here in the chat. It's been 2 years this week since I started streaming, and 2020 was, or 2021 when we started was definitely, oh, it archives old web pages. I see. I will certainly have to check that out, because yeah, it would be amazing if I could access all of that stuff. I am very, very much about chronicling. I've been on and off adamant journaler throughout my life. The primary way that I chronicle everything has been musically. My music playlist is, my music collection is over 13,000 something songs, and they are arranged autobiographically, starting from my first interest in music in 90, 91, all the way up to the present date. So while it is true for a lot of people that you hear a song and it takes you back to that time, place, that memory, sometimes even what you saw, what you smelled, what you felt, For myself, I kind of intentionally create those nostalgias and memories in my life by the way that I've organized my music collection. And following this first segment here that's going to detail the inspiration behind Roleplaying Unlimited, why I'm doing this, which I've already kind of revealed, I'm going to delve into the first couple pages of that playlist and just kind of go through really whatever comes to mind, because a lot of it is real, personal, uh, deep-rooted memories, and it all kind of happenstantially goes on around the same time as my introduction to gaming, namely Dungeons and Dragons, but other tabletop RPGs after that. So there is a definite correlation, and gaming will be discussed, especially as I start getting more into the 90s, when I started getting my groove as a game master and finding steady players. The next great while here of this stream, and I'm not kidding, like 2 hours, I don't know that I'm going to say much of anything. I will chat it up in the chat log. I might have the occasional reflection to add in. I do know in that respect I'm going to have some reflections to add in based on the history as I know them. And you can find most of these on the Roleplaying Unlimited YouTube page. The Sod albums primarily, both of them from 1972, 1973, or was it 71, 72? Details a little sketchy. But he had this other group that we're seeing predominantly on the bottom and the right of the screen here, Six the Hard Way. They played a lot of covers. So I don't know. I'm not, the purpose of this stream is not to monetize like some of the others. And I know when I play like Grand Theft Auto, or the other day when I was playing Final Fantasy Stranger of Paradise, if a copyrighted song came in, they kind of silenced the stream. So if that happens, I'm just going to skip past those songs, even though they're not played by the original artist. I don't know if playing a cover of a song is going to merit the same, hey, you can't do that. I respect that. The songs don't belong to the guys, my dad. They were all cover songs, a lot of Beatles songs, songs that were hip and popular in the mid to late 60s. So that's predominantly the Six the Hard Way catalog. They do have 3 original songs, which I'm positive I'll be able to play without any issue whatsoever. I've never had a problem with it before. But the large bulk of their catalog, I want to say the 9 songs after that or so, god-awful quality. I forget what the machine was that they used before they were using vinyl, but one of the, if not the only surviving member of Six the Hard Way, Chuck Girard, who is now a prominent Christian singer. He's an evangelist, a spokesperson, and I connected with him again after Dad's passing, and he was kind enough. That's where all these pictures came from. Chuck had all of these in his archives, all of the songs from Six the Hard Way that I would have never been able to access. He had copied all of those over from whatever, it's on the tip of my tongue, whatever the machine was, onto vinyl, and then from there converted it, digitized it. So you can definitely hear the scratchiness and that late 60s, mid 60s sound to a lot of the stuff, assuming the stream doesn't just get silenced altogether at that point. But yeah, I'm gonna keep it here on this page. These image slideshows are gonna be rolling through here endlessly while Six the Hard Way kicks it off.
Sunrise morning, such a pretty sight. pink clouds drifting, pushing back the night. Sunrise morning, I predicted rain, never dreaming the sun would shine again. Last night I couldn't sleep a wink. All I could do was think and wish we'd never said goodbye. At dawn, you called me on the phone, said you were coming home, and suddenly I knew, girl, my world begins with you at sunrise. You called me on the phone, said you were coming home, and suddenly I knew, girl, my world begins with you at sunrise. Sunrise morning, I predicted rain. Never, ever dreaming the sun would shine again. So the grass grows greener for you down a nameless avenue. Well, everybody knows that grass never grows in the smoky city air, neath the sun that doesn't care. Come home. Oh, you know you better come home now. Your gypsy jamboree is your sparkling burgundy. Well, everybody knows that grass never grows in a hungry hot dog stand. $50 in your hand, come home. Oh, little girl, come home now. Are you really happy in your nowhere state of mind? Lost in a paper world, a world that's so unkind. Someone really loves you. Guess who? Guess who? Someone really cares. Guess who? Guess who? Open up your heart, and maybe then you will see, yeah, that that's someone who cares is me now. You know that it's me now. Someone really loves you. Oh, guess who? Guess who? Guess who? Guess who? Someone really cares. Guess who? Guess who? So open up your heart. Yes, and maybe then you'll see, yeah, that's someone who really cares is me. somebody to love? Could it be anybody? I want somebody to love. Would you believe in a love at first sight? Yes, I'm certain that it happens all the time. What do you see when you turn out the light? I can't tell you, but I know it's mine. Oh, I get by with a little help from my friends. Yeah, I get high with a little help from my friends. I'm gonna try with a little help from my friends. A little help from my friends. Picture yourself in a boat on a river with tangerine trees and marmalade skies. Somebody calls you, you answer quite slowly. The girl with kaleidoscope eyes. Cellophane flowers of yellow and green, towering over your head. Look for the girl with the sun in her eyes, and she's gone. Lucy in the sky with diamonds. Lucy in the sky with diamonds. Lucy in the sky with diamonds. Follow her down to a bridge by a fountain where rocking horse people eat marshmallow pies. Everyone smiles as you drift past the flowers that grow so incredibly high. Newspaper taxis appear on the shore, waiting to take you away. Climb in the back with your head in the clouds and you're gone. Lucy in the sky with diamonds. Lucy in the sky with diamonds. Lucy in the sky with When I get older, losing my hair, many years from now, will you still be sending me a valentine? Birthday greetings, bottle of wine. If I've been out till 3:15, would you lock the door? Or will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64? In the summer we could rent a cottage in the Isle of Wight, if it's not too dear. We shall scrimp and save. Grandchildren on your knee. Vera, Chuck, and Dave. Send me a postcard, drop me a line, stating points of view. Indicate precisely what you mean to say. You're sincerely wasting away. Send me your answer, fill in a form, mine forevermore. Or will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64? Woo! I read the news today, oh boy, about a lucky man who made the grade. And though the news was rather sad, well, I just had to laugh. I saw the photograph. He blew his mind out in a car. He didn't notice that the lights had changed. A crowd of people stood and stared. They'd seen his face before. Nobody was really sure if he was from the House of Lords. I'd love to turn you on. When it's cold outside, I've got the month of May. Well, I guess you'll say, what can make me feel this way? My girl, talk about my girl. I've got so much honey, the bees envy me. I've got a sweeter song, baby, than all the birds in the trees. Well, I guess you'll say, what can make me feel this way? My girl, talk about my girl. Yeah, I don't need no money, no fortune or fame. I've got all the riches, baby, you know that one man can claim. Well, I guess you'll say, what can make me feel this way? My girl, talk about my girl. I've got sunshine on a cloudy day, Lord, for my girl. I've even got the month of May for my girl. Whoa, you gotta hear me talking. I said, ooh, my girl, my girl, my girl. When a man loves a woman, can't keep his mind on nothing else. He tell the world what a good thing is found. If she's bad, he can't see it. Lord, she can do no wrong now. Turn his back on his best friend if he put her down. When a man loves a woman, he'll spend his very last dime now trying to hold on to what he needs. He give up all of his comforts, and he's gonna sleep out in the rain now. If she say that's the way that it ought to be. Well, this man love you, woman. You know I gave you everything that I had. Trying to hold on to your very high class love. never do that woman no wrong now. He can never hold no other girl. When a man loves a woman, whoa, people, I gotta tell you, I know exactly how it feels now. I know, 'cause I played the same game with my own girl now. Come on, Ben, help me one time. Whoa. Don't wait, we'll take another one. Show me a man that's got a good woman, show me. Hey, I wanna see a man out there that claims he's got a good woman, show me. Show me a man that's got a good woman. Show me a man that's got a good woman. Show me a man that's got a good woman. Show me a man that's got a good woman. Show me a man that's got a good woman. I'll show you a man that knows what's coming. He knows he's got some good love coming at the end of his working day. Show me a woman that's got a good man. Show me. My, yeah. See a woman out there that claims she's got a good man. Show me. Ooh, yeah. Show me a woman that's got a good man. Show me a woman that's got a good man. Show me a woman that's got a good man. Show me a woman that's got a good man. Show me a woman that's got a good man. I said, show me a woman that's got a good man. Show me a woman that's got a good man. Show me a woman that's got a good man. Show me two people strung out on each other. Show me. My God, yeah, see two people out there claiming to love with each other. Show me. Ooh, yeah. Show me two people in love with each other. Show me two people in love with each other. Show me two people in love with each other. Show me two people in love with each other. Show me two people in love with each other. I'll show you two people ain't got no father. I'll reach out to hold one another. I said let them lovers alone. Ooh, my, yeah. Ooh, you got to feel it, baby. Oh, come on now. One more time. Ooh, my, yeah. Talk about your baby. Ooh, just a little bit of soul now. Ooh, my, yeah. Ooh, got to have it all, baby. Ooh, yeah. My dad. Wow! Come on! Wow! Show me, baby. Sonny, yesterday my life was filled with rain. Sonny, you smiled at me and really eased the pain. I said those dark days are gone and those bright days are here. My sunny one shines so sincere. I said, Sonny, one so true, I love you. Sonny, thank you for that sunshine bouquet. My Sonny, Thank you for the love you brought my way. You gave to me the all and all, and now I feel like I'm 10 feet tall. I said, Sonny, one so true, I love you. Sonny, thank you for the truth you let me see. Sonny, thank you for the facts from A to Z. My life was torn like a windblown sand. The rock was formed when you held my hand. I said, Sonny, one so true, I love you. My Sonny, thank you for that smile upon your face. Sonny, thank you for the gleam that fills your grace. Now you're my sparkle that nature's fire. You're my one complete desire. I said, Sonny, one so true, I love you. My Sonny, yesterday all my life was filled with rain. Sonny, you smile at me and really ease the pain. I said those dark days are gone and those dark days are here, and my Sonny one time. Sonny, one so true, I love you. Oh, I love you. Yeah, my Sonny, I love you. Oh, I love you. I said, Sonny. Maybe I'm old-fashioned, feeling as I do. Maybe I am living in the past. But when I meet the right girl, I know I will be true. My first love will be my last. When I fall in love, it will be forever. Or I'll never fall in love. In a restless world like this is, love has ended before it's begun, and too many moonlight kisses seem to cool in the warmth of the sun. When I give my heart, it will be completely, or I'll never ever give I can feel that you feel that way too. Is when I fall in love with you. everything right. If you don't love me, won't you tell me tonight? I can't stand holding on to a dream I can't have. You're too loose to get tight. I want to love you, I guess I always will. But when I leave you, well, you know the way I feel. I can't stand holding on to a girl I can't love. You're too loose to get tight. But if you ever think you love me, won't you tell me one time you're not too loose to be mine? tight, it don't seem right. If you don't love me, won't you tell me tonight? I can't stand holding on to a dream I can't have. You're too loose to get tight. I want to love you, I guess I always will. But when I leave you, you know the way I feel. I can't stand holding on to a girl I can't love. You're too loose to be right. But if you ever think of love me, won't you tell me one time you're not too loose to be mine? Go now.
Content. Dude, it's
me free. So that my mind will set me free. So that my mind will set me free. You got to feel it in your heart, baby, yeah, yeah. Love, sweet love is all we need. Come find your thrill on Strawberry Hill. Love, sweet love is all we need. Everybody needs a little love in their heart. Love, sweet love is all we need. Now everybody come on and clap your hands with me one time. Love, sweet love is all we need. You got the feeling. Love, sweet love is all we need. I just love it. Love, sweet love is all we need. Take it home.
had to dig and write this song for you. Let me tell you people why they search the past, trying to find a way to make mankind last. Digging up bombs, under storms, them old gray tar pit blues. The secrets of life lie buried in tar. Their key to survival is not very far. Digging up those fossils way down in the pit, trying to make the pieces of the puzzle fit. Digging up bombs, under storms, them old gray tar pit blues.
Every time I talk to you, you leave my soul in misery. I don't want your body, so don't try to hold it next to mine. I don't want your body, so don't try to hold it next to mine. If you wanna get the band, you'll have still I'm gonna love you. We can make it start to fall in line, yeah. It's such a long way off to have going. I don't want to see you broken down behind me, no. Got to keep on making tracks. Got to keep on making tracks. Trucking on down the rugged stony road. Got to keep on making tracks. Got to keep on making tracks. Rolling on down the rugged stony road. Rock me, stone me, have it your way. If you got to fight me, make it in the war, make it love, yeah. Let me be and learn to live together, oh yeah. Then you can make me different as you want to. 'Cause I want to make it happen. I'm going to give you all the space that you desire. Take it all. And we can share and breathe and laugh together. Just taking turns to fan each other's fire. Got to keep on making tracks. Got to keep on making tracks. Trucking on down the rugged stony road. Got to keep good time could be. But you won't have a good time, oh no, unless you feel the rhythm below. Clap hands, tap feet, hands down, good time. Hey you, quit making so much love over there. Stop trying to tell me you're only gonna lose. I got to have what I want when I need it. I got to have what I need, even when I don't want it. Stop trying to run my life. It really brings me down. If you would only love me, I'd gladly stick around. I've got to have what I want when I need it. I've got to have what I need, even when I don't want it. Stop trying, stop pushing on me, baby. Stop trying to run my life. Stop trying, gonna live the way I want to live, yeah. Stop trying, gonna feel the way I want to feel. Stop trying, gonna say the things I want to say. Stop trying. Stop.
Well, that concludes that section of the stream. Hope y'all enjoyed Six the Hard Way and Sod. And after all that is said and done, you see, well, hopefully see what I kind of feel like I'm living up to, what I want to live up to, what I have to live up to. And I've got musical talent in my own respect. Still have a ways to go to solidify that and put it in a state where it's presentable. But gaming, running games, putting together stories, improvising in the TTRPG realm, that's something I got a lot of practice at, and I think I'm pretty good at. So this has been my first inclination to kind of step out from behind the curtain where I had been so comfortable gaming with my close friends for a long time. And I've never been to a gaming convention. I'd never been to any convention, for that matter, up until year before last. Or no, it was 2019. Annie and I went to the Days of the Dead convention here in Vegas, and horror-themed convention. It's definitely a paradise for horror movie addicts. If you are not into such things, maybe not such a cool thing. This year they actually had it going the same weekend as I don't want to say it was a comic convention, it was like a cosplay convention or something, and I think all the rest of my friends who went to anything that weekend went to that. But we went to Days of the Dead. I got to meet Kane Hodder, Bam Margera, Judy Aronson, Clint Howard, just so many great memories from that weekend. Good times. And just to kind of come back from the convention talk, that's like not really anything I had done, but it's something I would like to get into, especially if a gaming convention were to ever make its way here to Las Vegas. I would also like to make my way to GaryCon one of these times, like the center of it all. And if you know me, you know that my facts and fictions are two separate things. The artist and the work that they create are two separate things. I know that a lot of people have issues with Gary Gygax, the Gygax family in general. I don't really pay attention to that kind of stuff because I need to enjoy something that I've sunk a quarter of my life into, and that's just how I simplify it. That's how I justify it to myself, how I sleep at night, what little sleep I get. Yeah, Bam was an interesting character to meet, for sure. He was the one I was most excited to meet, just because I had gotten so many laughs out of him in my youth, and I kind of lived vicariously through him. Like, I never really did any of that stuff. Of course, I wasn't crazy, didn't have goofball friends like that thought hitting each other and shopping carts into prickly bushes would have been a fun Friday night activity. We've been playing D&D since forever. But I wanted to meet him and thank him for that. Just like, dude, thanks for the laughs, thanks for the memories and all that stuff. And the first night that I got there, his booth was empty. Okay. Yeah, for sure. It's very sad, for sure. But so his booth is empty, and I have nothing playing here. Not that it's essential, but it's gonna get loud. Turn it down. There we go. And I'm gonna turn it down more. I don't want to shout. There we go. That should be a good balance right there. So he's not at his booth, but I happened to see him over near this this other merch booth as the night is winding to an end. And I almost like bump right into him. I'm just like, whoa, and just instinctively I was like, whoa, Bam, thank you so much for the laughs. And he's just like, oh, you're welcome, dude. And he No. This was later on. I'm getting my days mixed up. So that part happened, and then we kind of wander around the convention a little longer. I'm like, Annie, I found Bam, and she's like, I gotta see him, because when I was telling her that I wanted to watch all of the CKY and Viva La Bam stuff in the weeks preceding Days of the Dead to kind of get that nostalgia back, she had thought that Bam Margera was Johnny Knoxville. So when she saw him on the screen, it was a bit of a surprise. And when I showed her a picture of what he looks like now, she's like, no way. So when we saw him at the convention, it was very much like, yeah, we definitely gotta meet him. And she saw him, and of course, it's a sad story for sure. I mean, death can really fuck a person up. I mean, it can trigger things in them that they never thought they had in themselves. And for me, it's kind of the same thing with this, losing Dad the way I did. And this all is to honor him, like what I've put together over the last 2 years. But my closest friends who were there in the aftermath, as I should call it, right after he passed, they're very aware of just how terrible things got with my family in general, and it's still not the same. If anything, I'd say things have gotten worse, and it's a sad story. And I tried to be the anchor for the family for so long, because with Dad gone, and I was basically the man of the family as I saw it, especially at his memorial and in the months before that, months after that. It just kind of seemed to fall on me to take that responsibility onto myself. But eventually I had to kind of let that go, because it's too much weight to bear, too much. This is what Dad would want, and this is how I should try to honor his wishes. It comes from a place of genuine goodness, but you can only do so much if everybody doesn't want to kind of come along for the ride. So that's kind of how that all is situated at the current moment. But the inspiration behind doing all of this definitely kind of triggered that. Once he passed, the creation behind Roleplaying Unlimited, and to come back to Bam as we're wandering around the convention, we just keep running into him. Hey, Lilac Moon Plays, welcome to Roleplaying Unlimited. Thank you for joining us. So good to see you. We run into Bam like 3 or 4 more times. It's just insane. Like, after not being able to find him the whole night, all of a sudden we're just like freaking magnets drawn to each other. And even to the point where when Annie and I decide, okay, it's time to leave the convention, this is in a not the best casino in town. It's definitely got some nostalgia to it, I'll say it kindly. And the passage that we're going through is very narrow, and who's blocking the passage wearing his full frickin' furry trench coat is Bam Margera. So I'm just kind of like, well, I have to kind of like just kind of tap him on the shoulder and be like, hey, what's up, as we walk by. And at this point, I'm like, this guy definitely thinks we're stalking him. He definitely thinks I'm stalking him. Like, he doesn't know what's going on, but he's got 2 buddies with him as well that are like now as attached to him as he and I are seemingly drawn to each other. And then the last incident of that night is, as we're heading to the parking garage, we're heading down the escalators, there's a giant slot machine right there, and of course, yep, all 3 of them standing right there, and they notice somehow this motion behind them. Bam's standing there smoking a cigarette, and they all just kind of turn, and I was like, hi, how's it going? And then when I did actually get to meet him, like, officially the following day at his booth and pay for the photo op and the autograph, somebody else that he knew very personally came up at the same time, and there was, like, instantly that CKY, like, scuffle. Everybody starts, like, throwing punches at each other, and I'm just like, hey, I'm kind of fragile here, so I backed away from that. But initially, as he was stepping into, before the scuffle, I thought he was stepping in closer to me, and he just kind of held his arms out, and the next thing I know, like, Bam and I are hugging each other, and I'm just like, hey, good to see you again. He's like, yeah, you too, brother. I'm like, you don't know who I am, man. You met me for the first time yesterday, and even though you saw me half a dozen times in the span of, like, 20 minutes, you still don't know who I am, I'm sad to say. And the picture that I got with him, everybody else that I met, I've got like 3, 4, 5, a dozen, 20 pictures with them. The cast and creators of the, or not creators, but the cast of the original Paranormal Activity, Mika and Katie. Got to meet them, chat with them for like 20 minutes. We were the first ones at their table for the convention. They just seemed to kind of materialize behind us. And I was like, holy crap, there they are. We were very excited to meet them too, because we're huge Paranormal Activity fans. And yeah, I got tons of pictures with them. I got 2 pictures with Bam. One of them is we kind of got our arms around each other, and he's doing the like this, and I'm just kind of like, and I mean, I don't know. Instinctively, I just kind of go to goofy face mode when the picture initially comes up. And the second picture that I wanted to be a bit better, I've got, I think I'm represented better in the picture, but Bam is already moving away from me. And thus, it's a blurry Bam moving quickly out of frame for shot number 2. So, that's my my Bam Margera story. And, of course, got off on that with the convention tangent. Haven't ever been to one. I've only been to Days of the Dead now twice. Would have been more times if not for the pandemic shutting things down. 2020 was supposed to have the entire Knights of Ren, which I was super stoked about seeing. But what you gonna do? This is kind of my forte. Running games, and I don't know if I'm biting off more than I can chew. I'm meeting a lot of great people, and I've always been the type of game master who... You had 3 trips planned? Goodness, well that sucks. I hope you've at least kind of been able to make up for some of those in the time since. I've always been the type of game master who... I've had massive tables of players. The biggest was like 15 people. But it's not uncommon for me at the in-person tabletop to have like 8, 9, 10 people. And it's kind of translating the same way here in person, or for the open table games. The difference being that there's so many players, I can't possibly fit all of them at one table. So, Tuesday open table, which was the only one, it was Tuesday open table, and Animir Friday night. Animir's been my homebrew campaign world for 21 years. You know, I didn't even kind of connect 2 and 2 right there. That 420 is not only our 2-year stream anniversary here for Roleplaying Unlimited, but also April something of this year is the 21-year anniversary of Enemir. So double, yes. Tuesday open table became filled like almost instantaneously after, I want to say, a year. And not running 52 games, but I'll run 2 games and kind of get a little discouraged because I'm like, well, I watch other D&D streams and people are always like, hey, I want to play, can I join your group? And they're not talking to me, but I see what they're saying to these other groups. I'm kind of trying to do my research. And I'm thinking, well, this is an idea. If I provide an open table that is welcoming to beginners, veterans, people who haven't played since 3rd edition, people who haven't played since the original D&D back in the 60s or 70s, like, let's create something that will encompass everybody, that everybody can find a table that they feel welcome at. The only real rule we have is to kind of keep it PG-13 due to personal issues with myself and intimacy issues. I just kind of get really weirded out watching people roleplay, flirting with each other, or even taking it to higher levels. And I recognize that the name Roleplaying Unlimited can be a little confusing for people. That's why when you join the group, it says not that kind of roleplaying. Yeah, some things are maybe best kept private. And I'm not the only one who has felt this way at tabletops. I have players who we didn't really discuss parameters before campaigns, and they would just kind of dive into things that they wanted to do. There's no right or wrong way to play D&D, but you do have to kind of make all your players aware of what the expectations and the playing field is coming in. And that wasn't really something I had ever done because I had just always played with the same 5, 6, 7 people for 20 years, and we just knew each other. So, I mean, no surprises whatsoever in that regard. But suddenly we start getting these romantic angles coming into the game. And it's a little, I don't know. It just didn't sit too well with me. So that's where I ended up creating the one rule, so to speak, which you only really see it if you're in the Discord server that I posted up. I posted several times on the Facebook page. Primarily, if you want to be on the inside community, it's where I post the most inside of the Discord group. That's right, you gotta set those boundaries, you know. Oh, what's happening here? Best celebrity story. Jay Leno twice at different car conventions. Second time he remembered me. But he remembered my car. Nice. That's super cool. Yeah, like you got a something that makes you stand out like that for sure. It definitely plays well in your favor. I'm just the tall bald guy who's apparently like always 2 feet behind Bam Margera, who he's just like, get off me. And as and then again, if you're in the Discord server, the second part you'll see it's not even really a rule. I don't really know how to put it. I think I put it most succinctly in the server. Just if mental health issues or anything that you're uncomfortable being around, maybe Roleplaying Unlimited isn't the best community for you. I have struggled with this for my entire life. I've been in therapy for on and off for several years. And I try my best to contain it, especially when it comes to Roleplaying Unlimited. But if you're a personal friend, you know that I tend to just kind of just fucking shout that shit as loud as I can because I don't know, it's my best venting tool sometimes, right or wrong. And if you're part of Roleplaying Unlimited, and I do have the occasional accidental slip-up, I just kind of want people to be aware of that ahead of time. Not a rule, just kind of like, hey, here's a heads up as to who you're putting your character's fate in the hands of. I mean, ask any of the players in the group, they'll say I do a good job, old players, new players alike, but even still, sometimes I'm not entirely all there. Now, the musical Autobiography. This is something I'm going to need a hydration for. I think I had started to mention it at the start of the stream. Thank you so much, Cyanide. I appreciate you always. Appreciate the support. Warms my heart very much. And not to be too needy, it is needed. I think I mentioned at the start of the stream, and I've kind of mentioned it elsewhere before. Music is integral to my life. It's kind of why I posted the poll in Roleplaying Unlimited a month ago regarding which media source could you absolutely not do without, be it movies and TV, music, books, and to an extent that includes D&D, because D&D's rules are all contained in books, so could you not do without D&D as part of books? Video games was another one. For myself, it's music. Absolutely cannot do without it. In the span of working, I listen to music all throughout the day. And again, that's just all that all comes from Dad, and it mostly comes from Dad. My sisters were also huge musical influences on me growing up, especially as we get into my 1991, 1992 playlist here. It's certainly a little embarrassing, but it's 11-year-old Daniel's playlist. But sometimes he wants to listen to some music, so I let him. And 44-year-old Daniel is just like, I'm down, I'm feeling it. My music playlist is organized autobiographically. 1991 all the way up to 2023 encompasses over 13,500 something songs. And it's a project I started around 2005. I had gone through the most traumatizing breakup in my life up to that point so far. I was engaged to this girl, and it was a very quick descent in our relationship. And quite obvious that she was spending time with somebody else, and then some. And as I'm prone to do when instantly met with the trauma, I tend to just kind of be like, yeah, I mean, this is how it is. This is what happens. And even to a further extent, I'll kind of, I don't know why, but I'll kind of be like deny any hurt or pain that I'm feeling, and just I really just want what's best for you. Your happiness is what matters most, and I wish nothing but the best for you. And to some extent, there's some truth to that, but it's also kind of denying myself to an extent as well. Let me see if I can get this to work. There we go. Got the second monitor on, and I don't need it right now, so it's driving me crazy. So 2005, I started. I think 2005 up to that point in my life was the year I purchased the most music, got into the most new bands, and that was kind of how I coped with everything to an extent and processed what I was feeling. And somewhere in that, I just kind of got the idea to, like, let's just start writing these down in the order that we receive them. I don't know why I'm thinking this or what purpose it's going to solve or provide. But within the year or so, I had kind of backtracked in my mind, and my mind is... It's in many respects an iron trap, especially when it pertains to trauma that has affected me. I am the absolute worst at letting anything go. Job number 212 to work on. I also am very prone to just kind of losing track of thought there, but yeah. So as I'm reassembling all the rest of these playlists from the years prior to 2005, going all the way back to 1990, 1991, when I first got a serious interest in music. I absolutely do. I have that in a very special place, yeah. I haven't thought about that in a while. Thank you for reminding me of that. A lot of this musical autobiography reassembly in the years prior to that, I wasn't as attached to music. I was very prone to be, I haven't listened to this in a year, so I'm not really a fan of this group anymore, so let's trade these CDs in here and get something newer. Not realizing that 4, 5, 10 years later, I might just be like, I missed that music, I want to go back and listen to it. So there was a lot of reacquiring of music from, it took a while, 2005 all the way up through 2021. And not consistently, especially considering that up until 2016 or 17, I didn't really purchase a lot of music through iTunes itself. I was still very traditional physical media copy. And now I only purchase the physical media if I can't find it digitally, because some of these sellers want $75 for a CD that I'm only interested in one song for, but they know that I'm gonna fucking pay it. Thank you, Better Off Dead soundtrack. Fortunately, I ended up enjoying the entire thing, so worth the price. And if anybody out there is a fan of the movie and you want to, oh, I shouldn't say that. I'm gonna get, yeah, you're welcome to come over to my house and listen to it with me. 1991 is... I had meant to bring something in here, and it's well worth... Nice save there, yes indeed. Alright, let's see if I can find this. I know I brought it in, and it's going to be giant when it first shows up, because that's how it is. To the desktop. Alrighty. Yep. That's me. Let's fit that. Bring that a little bit more to a size where it fits on the screen. Oops. Uh-oh. Why did that happen? Undo. There we go. I'm trying to lock the source. Lock sources. Did I ever have hair? If you ever doubted it, there's some proof of it. It wasn't too long after that before it went away. This is 6th grade at Roy Martin Junior High School here in Las Vegas. Part of the background that I have of emotional abuse, emotional trauma, stems from not really any surprise, environment background, and that's largely where my focus was at that point in life. I keep in mind this is the 80s and the 90s, and I kind of feel that I was not really prepared for, I guess, even interacting competently with this world. And then to add on to that, the environment and background in which I was raised. There were a good number of people who were not as appreciative of the nerd culture, to put it, as they are nowadays. So for somebody like me, heavy into comic books and Dungeons and Dragons, this is what I look like when I'm first getting into D&D. Zelda, Final Fantasy, these are my first exposures into that realm. Thank you, Cyanide. But not only to be into these things, because, I mean, truthfully, weren't most kids at that point in time? I sure see a lot of people my age now that are sporting Marvel shirts and heavily into D&D. So I think it was more about just being open about it. Just the fact that I was really into that, and I wanted to play D&D and assemble a group of friends. It didn't really mesh and gel too well with a lot of the people that were in my neighborhood, that were in my classes at that point in time. Very true. Plus the satanic panic taboos, which yeah, that's that's something I still have the joy of experiencing with. The woman who birthed me is really all I can define it as at this point. So, taking all of that into account, and I was kind of just, I was just awkward, and I had a few close friends, but mostly due to necessity of having some kind of companionship, because you can't be completely alone, especially when you're surrounded by kids that are your age. So you kind of feel like, at least I did, like there's something wrong with me. Like these kids all get along, they're into these things together. Maybe I need to kind of acclimate and accommodate to fit in better with them. And of course, my taste in music certainly didn't match up as well with some of them at that point in time. They were getting into some heavier stuff in junior high when I was just discovering my musical taste, if I can call it taste. So, it's not an exaggeration to say I grew up in a ghetto. That side of town is still, it's still pretty bad for anybody who lives there, and my heart goes out to anybody who's there, especially trying to get out. Coming home from school and being bullied and having your D&D books knocked out of your hand, being called a nerd. I mean, you kind of see the movie Revenge of the Nerds, and you're like, is there a group of like-minded people around here that maybe I can put some lambda shit together and get some vengeance here? Alas, it was not to come, probably for the best. I did find a few like-minded good friends, though, who wanted to play some D&D, mostly through the game Hero Quest. We played Hero Quest pretty extensively, mostly a friend by the name of Craig and his brother Paul. And Paul was a very good friend of mine. I don't know what, I think we just kind of drifted apart in middle school, but elementary school, he was one of the few people I knew who we kind of made the transition from school to school together because of rezoning and all that stuff. But it turned out that his younger brother Craig, I ended up making very good friends with through mutual love of Hero Quest, adventure games, and he was my first serious D&D player, in addition to a kid up the street, Rodil, also known as Noi. He was also one of my first game masters, aside from my brother-in-law, former brother-in-law, I guess. Brother-in-law is actually the one who got me into D&D itself, because he saw I was playing Zelda and Final Fantasy, and he just said, you would like Dungeons and Dragons, and naturally I assume he's got a NES cartridge that I haven't heard of. I'm like, yeah, bring it over. And he brings over a stack of books and these weird dice, and I don't want to read all of this stuff. And he leaves it with me for a few months, and my first campaigns were entirely imaginary. Like, there was no mechanical interaction with the rules at all. I had been given the simplest of the rule sets, or one of the simplest, just Dungeons and Dragons, the classic edition. And even that was a bit much for me to kind of comprehend at that point in time. So a lot of my solves to the tabletop RPG were entirely narrative. If you wanted to kill the fire-breathing dragon, you had to cast an ice spell as he was casting his fire breath, and it would freeze the breath to create a bridge for you to walk up so you could stab it in the face. That's how you kill a dragon in Daniel's very first D&D campaign, 1991. It's a little bit different now. Some of my players may wish that it were still that simple, but I'm older and maybe a little bit wiser. Just maybe. What else did I have? I had some very, very, very short notes here. Oh, I'm getting a response here. Absolutely. Yeah. You know. I do owe you more than that, but I'll get there. And then we kind of work into what I feel is the root of intimacy issues. And I still don't have a precise definition on it. I do know that the first girl who I ever really liked, I did the junior high anonymous secret admirer route, and the school had it perfectly set up for me to do that, because every holiday they would have this thing where you could buy your boyfriend or girlfriend a rose or a candy or something and send it out, and I just took the opportunity to write from secret admirer. And it was definitely for myself a particularly crushing blow to see her actual reaction to receiving these things, because we were in the same class and she's just a few feet away, and I could see she's so excited and who can it possibly be, and then the absolute despair when she finds out who it is. And then to compound that, when I kind of just finally am like, I gotta have some closure on this, so I just go up and ask her, like, Nicole, do you want to go out with me? And her response is, and then she just kind of walks off in a haste. And in addition, the very first girl who ever kind of worked up the courage to tell me that she thought I was cute, I was naturally so paranoid and suspicious that I assumed, like, there's got to be some kind of prank going on here, because she approached me with a friend with her. We're out in PE class, we're all just walking the field, walking the laps, and she comes up behind me, Brittany, she's all, Daniel, I like you, you're really cute. And I don't even think a second passed, because I think she came and put her arm on my shoulder, and I just, like, pushed it away and, like, just walked off as fast as I could. And little similar correlation there between the two instances. And this is all at the time when you're discovering yourself, trying to find out your place in everything, who you're going to be, who you want to be, if those two things even align, because that is kind of the beauty of that point in life, is there's so much change going on, especially if you yourself are moving around a lot, to have that opportunity to hopefully reinvent yourself. Easier said than done, I know, but it's stuff that still sticks with me to this day, and there are many plants and stems and roots that have grown from those early incidents, and that's just the ones that are somewhat easy to talk about. Of course, there's others that I'm not going to share. This is not an entire glimpse into my psyche and life, so if that's what you were tuning in for. I am sad to disappoint you in that, but it is about as close a look behind the mask as I will give. All the while kind of revealing how music has shaped the person I am and how D&D and gaming has had an influence intertwined through all of that. 1991. I have 9 selections for this year, and I'm just going to read them in order. So, mocking, laughing is expected, even encouraged. I think I have a very cool taste in music, but I will not ask you to reference my 1991 playlist in search of that. There's some good stuff on there, but yeah. The very first song that I really recall liking, and I can't recall which came in order, so these two kind of come side by side as single entries. Joey Scarberry, America's Greatest Hero. Believe it or not, I'm... Yeah, you know. And the Beach Boys, Kokomo. Very fond childhood memories of hearing both of those songs. Being in a car and hearing it and actually having a pleasant memory associated with that. America's Greatest Hero, for some reason, my 4th or 5th grade music teacher wanted us all to sing it. So she put it together as a chorus entry and we all sang it. So I came home that day singing that song at the top of my lungs. And entry number 2, the aforementioned $75 soundtrack, Better Off Dead. One of the first movies that stuck with me as far as music and story are concerned. Star Wars definitely another one, but and even then, this is a kind of a retroactive edition because I was never able to find a lot of these entries back then when I owned my music collection, and even going back and reassembling things and then remembering, oh yeah, America's Greatest Hero. Well, I never owned that song, but it has a fitting place in this playlist. So in that respect, there's a few retroactive additions to the playlist, which is always fun because you're not seeing the playlist as it is, you're just hearing me talk about it, but the playlist is like 600 something entries long, and it's on a document, not an Excel sheet. So I'm not skilled enough in that to make it work. So anytime I add something in, it's a lot of backspacing and entering new numbers to make everything correct throughout the entire thing. Entry number 3, I have the Escape Club, the Wild Wild West. Fond memories of Jump Rope for the Heart in elementary school. That was the song that stuck out with me, that they had playing to get all of us 10-year-olds hyped and get our energy going as good as possible. In addition, Bobby Brown kind of became big in my neighborhood at that time. So Don't Be Cruel, My Prerogative, Every Little Step. Those are songs that definitely harken back to that time. And one thing in addition is, pleasant or unpleasant, the music remains on the playlist. There is no editing. I do not edit my past. I do not erase things. That includes on Facebook. If I post something on there, if I regret it, I will post something else later on saying that I regret it, but I do not believe in removing the past. I don't believe in censoring that or whitewashing it or blacking it out, whatever terminology somebody wants to use. I mean what I say, especially at this point in time. I'm very thoughtful about the things that I say. I try to put a lot of effort into making sure that the things I say will not be misinterpreted, especially in text format, because I know that's a very easy thing to do. So, in that same respect, as far as music is concerned, the Bobby Brown songs, that's not music that I would have, I think, picked up of my own volition at that point in time, but the kids in the neighborhood that I was trying to fit in with, absolutely. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. Sometimes I hear a song and it does not put me in a happy place, but can somebody who writes a sad song say that was their intent? You never know what emotion a particular song is going to elicit from anybody. Entries 4 and 5 are soundtracks. The Final Fantasy soundtrack, the very first Final Fantasy game, as mentioned, that would have been one of my first RPGs that I ever got into. And then every kid at that point in time probably didn't have the soundtrack, but I think we all saw the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So the soundtrack for that is lovingly added to my playlist here at entry number 5. And I don't know, maybe I should skip this one. This may be the most embarrassing one of 1991, but fuck it. Can anybody guess what it would be? Give a few moments to see if it gets added into the chat log. I may just have everybody on lurk right now anyway. That's cool. No worries. Entry number 6, MC Hammer. Don't hurt him, Hammer. Or please, Hammer, don't hurt him. Yeah, that's on the list there, friends. As is number 7, Color Me Bad. Color Me Bad. Self-titled CD. Oh, no worries at all. Sometimes I forget that people may be away, so no worries. Entry number 8 is actually Chuck Girard, who was the lead singer from Six the Hard Way. This is one of his Christian albums, The Name Above All Names, which the reason it's added to my playlist at this point in time is I was directed to a performance of his at the church I was going to at the time, and told that, yeah, this guy used to be in a band with your dad, and this is back when they were all doing heavy drugs and acid and running naked on the beach at midnight, all kinds of crazy 60s hippie shit, and this is who he is now, and he has a message to share, so you should definitely go see it. Which I did, and the message and the music was of a level enough to resonate with me to where it is still on this playlist. And saving the best for last here for 1991, probably my first favorite band, and this would be a greatest hits compilation. The album was called Decade. The band is Duran Duran. This is one that my sisters unintentionally influenced me with, or intentionally, because they're maybe like between 5 and 8 years older than me. I think one's 6, one's 8. So I'm like 5 years older, so if not younger, when they're at this stage in their lives where they're getting into music, and George Michael and Wham and Scorpions and Rat and all this music is coming. What's going on there, Epileptic? Welcome back. Thank you. So a lot of this music that they're listening to, it kind of stuck with me years later, especially when my sister started letting me have access to her cassette tapes, and Duran Duran was the first one I wanted to get my hands on. And it's also a soundtrack that kind of fit along with a lot of video games that I was playing back then. If I was playing something like Final Fantasy where you're just grinding for hours and hours at a time, or if you're not grinding and you're just failing the same battle over and over and over again, eventually that music might start to tick you off a little bit or just get a little old. So I just kind of took to muting the game, and Duran Duran Decade would be the soundtrack for Final Fantasy and Super Mario Brothers and Legend of Zelda and so many other video games that I would play back then, that after the 45 minutes of music that they give you had burned out, I'm like, well, I've got 4 cassettes over here. I'm swimming in music and good to go. Now, 1992, that is worth another quick pause here. And actually, this is kind of 3 at once, because school years get a little bit weird. They're not always lining up with the calendar year, of course. Oh, that's helpful. I didn't do anything. Okay. Yeah, look at that. 12-year-old Daniel. Oh, it's even bigger now. That's not what we wanted. My head is pretty giant as it is. Whoop. There we go. Just throw you over here. Started wearing the hair a little bit shorter, not so much like a ragamuffin. And still living in the same part of town. Junior high was all in the same area. It is not until high school that we moved, but it is a different school because of rezoning. Not really any better though, still kind of just the same element, really, that is prone to some people don't know how to process their emotions, and they lash out violently at others, and sometimes it's the awkward geeky kid, so that's how that goes. And then just to get this out the way. Oh, wow. Yeah, I forgot I had snapped this part of it. Okay. Fit to screen. Your name's not on there, so, yeah. We do know you as Nicole. One of my friends thought it would be a fun joke to put this in the yearbook, since he knew how much I liked this girl, but he also knew the results of my attempts to ask her out, and the disgust that she had upon finding out who it was that was sending her these secret admirer letters. Just put a little bit of a visual on that. As 1992, we're kind of getting 7th and 8th grade here, and then 1993 is actually going to be for next time's musical autobiography. That is where high school starts, and there are a good deal more D&D stories included with that, as well, as I started creating my first campaign world. But here for 92, entry 10 is Final Fantasy IV, which, as we knew it here in the States, Final Fantasy II. Still holds up as, I think, one of the best JRPGs of all time, soundtrack-wise especially. And number 11, I mean, if my 1991 soundtrack is including MC Hammer, you know that 1992 is including Criss Cross. Totally crossed out because the Mac Dad'll make you jump, jump. Daddy Mac will make you jump. And kind of in the same vein, entry 12, En Vogue, Funky Divas, which very much like Duran Duran Decade the year before, Funky Divas, strangely enough, became the soundtrack for all my video games in 92 when I got burned out of the actual video game music. I don't know, something about that album just connected with me, and I listened to it endlessly. Criss Cross, some bit here as well, but I especially remember Funky Divas as the soundtrack for Final Fantasy II or IV. And still kind of keeping in the same vein of following along and just trying to fit in with the people that are nearby you. Singles by Belle Biv DeVoe, Dope, and Poison. And Boys to Men, It's So Hard to Say Goodbye to Yesterday. I have kind of new appreciation for that last one, especially now. It's got some sentimental value to it, especially for me. The others kind of fit more in the theme of the Bobby Brown songs from the year before, just kind of adding them to the collection to kind of fit in at that point in time. And because I don't edit anything, it's included for completion purposes. And of course, soundtrack at number 14 is going to be The Secret of the Ooze, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. That held up as a pretty solid soundtrack, I think. If you've not listened to it ever, it may be a bit too dated to be relevant, but if it is anything that was ever part of your past, or if that music was ever anything that resonated with you, there's some good tracks on there. Number 15, there was a local disc jockey here in Vegas at the time. I don't think he DJs anymore. He is still a Vegas personality by the name of Julio the Gardener. And he ran a mobile, it was essentially, I think it was a food truck, but it didn't serve any food. It was just decked out with cassettes and CDs. And you could find him at random locations all over town. And if you approached him, and I mean, he was just giving this stuff away to anybody who wanted it. So I approached him, and his first question to me is, what kind of music do you like? I don't really know. I mean, I reference some of what I have in my collection already, and he's not a disc jockey for the younger generation so much. Maybe a bit more adult contempo, as they say. So the cassette that I was given was from a band called Surface, and the tape is 3 Deep. This is not a band that I ever met anybody in my life who had ever heard of. It wasn't a band that I talked about with a lot of people, to be fair. But as I'm reacquiring my past musical collection, I just kind of randomly asked my wife last year, like, you ever hear of this band called Surface? Oh, of course. Her entire family has heard of this band. So it's it did provide another laugh in that respect when I kind of thought that they were a lot more obscure than I gave them credit for, especially when I looked them up online. I'm like, oh yeah, they got got a pretty big catalog here. And 16, if you were this age at this time, 11, 12 or so in 1992, you probably were jamming to Snow's Informer, because that is my entry at number 16. And yep, still something that younger me is like, put it on. I want to hear it. I want to play it. It's here at number 17 that I kind of begin to establish a bit more of my own identity, especially as it comes to music. And it's hit or miss. Standing up for myself a little bit better in the neighborhood that I was around at that point in time, because at a certain point I don't want to say the bullying gets old, but eventually there has to be the other shoe's going to drop or something's going to break, and there's just going to be a different response. And in that same context, with a bit of a personality shift, became it came a bit more of a search through my middle sister's music collection. And this is very shortly after this album was released, and it's still fucking solid, top to bottom, for sure, especially if you are into the West Coast rap music scene. But number 17, NWA, Straight Outta Compton, that was definitely something that I was able to use to process some emotions that were otherwise just kind of sitting around with nothing to do. And similarly, in a complete 180 from that, also obtained from my sister's music collection, number 18 and number 19, both by Bon Jovi. Bon Jovi and Slippery When Wet, of course. These would be in the collections of sisters who had Rat, Scorpions, and In Excess, and all these other music in their collections. This is the era that I kind of come from, in the late 80s, early 90s. It's an interesting era. Every era is interesting in its own respect, don't get me wrong. But I find to be a particularly interesting era because there's not any other generation that had that many years before the internet and the way the world has been connected since then, and this many years after it. It's not a brag or this is better, this is worse. It's just, it's a perspective that occurs to me that I'm like, yeah, I mean, if you were born after this year, you don't know what life was like before the internet existed, unless, of course, you live in one of those places where it doesn't exist, or it's not provided for you, or you just don't care for it because you want to be disconnected, of course, in which case you're not fucking watching me right now. But it's so interesting, I find, just to kind of look back at how the world was and how it has evolved to this point now. And it's always evolving from generation to generation, decade to decade, year to year. It's just, this is the perspective that I have, because I've actually lived through it. I've studied history in other respects, but of course that's not going to give you the same feel as for having actually been there. I just really don't know how else to put a finger on it, just to kind of, some old world, a lot of new world, and using this new world mode of connection to try to discover, fix, just learn, be curious about that point of time in my life especially. There's a certain cyclical nature to that, also a certain bit of irony as well. But in any case, that is where I'm going to call it here today. This has been about as real as anybody's ever seen me on a live stream before. Of course, if you've ever been present with me in person or personal friend on social media, you probably get bits and pieces of this here and there. But in a solid sitting from start to finish, of course, there's a lot of music played in the first half of the stream. Everything in that respect was just typed out as far as chat because I didn't want to talk over the music as it was going, and just kind of wanted to provide that backdrop for where I'm from and the foundation that I'm trying to build upon with Roleplaying Unlimited, because there's no two ways about it. Dad was a badass, and I would like to just kind of be worthy of holding a candle to that. And through the process of putting this musical autobiography together, it's not anything I have expectations for. I don't expect I expect 95% of the people that are interested in Roleplaying Unlimited will have zero interest in this. This is purely a personal passion project for myself. It's something that I've had on the burner for years, and whether anybody is here chatting with me or not, Cyanide, Epileptic, Lilac Moon, I really appreciate all of you being here. But regardless, this is what I'm putting forward. And I've got 30 something more years of music entries to cover, in addition to anything that kind of sparks conversation in that regard. And then, of course, also to kind of tie it together to music and its influence for D&D for me, because there's a lot of songs that kind of remind me of moments in D&D games that I've played, or characters especially. I used to make soundtracks for every D&D game I played, like this is your character song, this is your character song, this song represents the battle of such and such. Of course, I won't be able to play those on live stream because they're all very, very popular songs, but there's nothing stopping me from talking about them. I think hopefully when I end this, I don't just see a big red bar through the entire stream. I think I'm gonna give my voice a rest for a while after I have some water and a cigarette, take care of the dogs, make some dinner, and then who knows what the rest of the evening holds. Might stream a little video game action later on, might just take it easy. Thank you for being here tonight, and this is only day one of Roleplaying Unlimited's 2-year Streamiversary celebration. Tomorrow night we have our first raffle during the Monday night open table D&D game. Want to be in on the raffle? Hit me with a sub. Tuesday night, same thing. Wednesday night, same thing. Thursday night, same thing. Friday night, I have my double header for Enemir and Asilia, during the Enemir portion of that, since it's a bit earlier for most people who are watching us, that's when I'll be doing the big raffle. Well, they're not all within arm's reach right here, but the Roleplaying Unlimited coin right here, yeah, these are, made by Coins for Anything, veteran-owned company. Had them press 100 limited edition Roleplaying Unlimited coins for raffle purposes and other special events and what have you. But in addition to possibly getting your hands on one of those, there's an Egyptian-themed dice roller with dice, and a personalized one-on-one D&D session with this dude right here, where you create the character you want, the backstory you want, and I will put a 3 to 4 hour adventure together just for you, my friend. 3 raffle winners on Friday night, 3 different prizes, winner's choice of any. It's not limited to one of each. If I have 3 people that want 3 individual one-on-one sessions, that's what we're doing. If I have 3 people who want 3 coins, then I'm taking 3 coins out of the stockpile. Get them while they're good. I only got about 80 left. Thank you all so much for being here tonight. Have a good rest of your night and a wonderful rest of your weekend if you are not able to catch up with me later on. Are you with us?